Well, here we are again. Another World Cup final for India. How good was Rohit last night? What about Sky? What about Hardik? What about the spin twins of Axar and Kuldeep? Less so Jadeja, but they've done it again, India. Can you go all the way this time? Big basket now. Do it.
Now delivering in 10 minutes.
Pez, a 68-run win. A 68-run win against England. Does that forgive the sins of 2 years ago? Has redemption been achieved from 2 years ago when England won that semi-final at the Adelaide Oval? Or is it just a completely new thing and since then, 8 World Cups have happened? What are your thoughts?
For time immemorial, humans have overlaid their own narratives onto things that are just scientific, results. The scars inflicted from Adelaide in 2022, which we all remember so well, have now been inflicted in turn on England. And if you keep going back, then, we're just playing marbles, as someone in Patreon suggested. But shout out India. We're going to talk about it. So people are going to be nervous about it, but they're looking good.
As someone else suggested, not me, it's been suggested that the final is the two biggest chokers up against each other. Who's going to choke first? Because no one's going to win it, someone will fail. Yeah. That's sport and that's life.
Frank Sinatra.
As Frank Sinatra once said. India batted first, made 171 for 7. Josh Butler sent them in, 171 for 7. Rohit Sharma, 57. Sky, 47. 2 top scores. England all out 103 in 16.4 overs. Started nicely, but ends up losing 9 for 62 in 12 overs. All fell apart. India win the game by 68 runs. Let's go through it.
Hitman again. Here goes. Stepping up. Coming with the hour. Coming with the man. Now, I know a lot of people...
Come with my face.
Come with my face. A lot of people will be like, Hardik should be captain. Of this team, of this T20 team. But it's Rohit, and they have to live with that, and he stepped up again. It's a slow, low deck where they were playing Guyana. I think 170 was 40 too many.
40 too many?
40 too many. Josh Butler says 20 to 25 too many. A lot of people at the ground who were there had the sort of the pulse of the game are saying, at halftime, the innings break, it's a bit like... They've done very well, India, to make that number of runs on that deck. No one's ever made that many in a day game in Guyana, I note. Rohit, 57. So that's a great knock.
Yep.
People are saying, perhaps Josh Butler should have batted first. The same thing again, where it's like, well, why allow the Indian spinners to do what they've got to do? But you might, on the other hand, say, it was a rain-interrupted match. I think they lost 75 minutes at one point, and perhaps it would have been better to bat second. But it's all details. India 46 in the power play. They lose 2 wickets. Kohli saving a lot of runs for the final. I can't believe how many runs he's going to score in the final.
He's going to score 1,000.
Rohit looking imperious throughout. 70, and they make 72 in the middle overs. The middle overs is where India does their damage, I feel. I know they've been good either side of that. You've got Bumrah up front with the ball and Rohit up front with the bat, but it's just that's when they get the boa constrictor going. They are like Sky's been unbelievable with the bat for them, and their spinners are really great through the middle overs. And it's just how do you contain this side? What happens? 75-minute rain delay. So 73-run partnership between Rohit and Sky, all looking fine. England don't have answers to them. It's a great number of runs on this deck, and Hardik and Jadeja are promoted ahead of Dubé, which was obviously prescient because he gets a golden duck. So he's saving a lot of runs as well.
Yep.
And then Axar and Jadeja put on 24 runs quickly. India just at the moment, bat and ball, just feels like if someone doesn't get him, someone else will.
What's not fair is that Rohit's last 2 innings, which have been outstanding, just about won the game, or at least been significant contributions to the game, to them winning. It's
close to 100, 57 off that number of balls on that deck.
Striking at 146, 2 sixes, 6 fours, 57 or 39. So unless he wins, this will be forgotten, which is just so unfair because his contributions to get them to the final as captain as well, especially what happened in the last World Cup, I would think that would weigh heavy. And then you look at what Sky's done as well, 47.
Would you say heavy is the crown upon the head of Rohit Sharma?
Well, I do think it's a heavy shirt.
True.
It's a heavy shirt.
It's a heavy head too, so he can prop up that crown.
Exactly right.
Interesting.
Sky has 47 off 36, 2 sixes, 4 fours. He has been so good, Sky. Now, it's one of those tournaments where, unless someone scores 400, it hasn't been that good a tournament, but it just hasn't been that kind of tournament. I know Rishabh misses out in this game, but what he did, his contribution in the Pakistan game, for instance, in New York, significant contribution.
Hey, I think Pakistan are looking good. Through all of this, they're the team that's got closest to India.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? It's a weird take from me, but I mean, honestly, they're the ones who've got closest to India because they're just dusting everybody else. Second thing he goes after India post 171 is the spin's too good. So Josh Butler, so they make it to 26, England, 26 after 3 overs. Butler takes Bumrah for 8. Very few people are able to do that. It takes Arshdeep down in the 3rd over. Butler basically has to make 80 in this game of about 40 rocks to get close. Can't do it. It's one of those things when you are trying to bat against this Indian team now because the spinners are just on fire, in particular Kuldeep and Axar, who again do the business. You have to over-attack the quicks, which is nigh on impossible against Bumrah. And then Arshdeep Singh's having a very good World Cup himself. You've got to take him down. You might be able to do it once, but you can't keep it up. And so, anyway, Axar comes on, first ball, pack him. Joss, that's it. Start the rot. Bumrah then bowls the greatest off-break ever seen to get Phil Salt out. I don't know what sort of how quick that delivery was, but it's turned a metre.
Pitches off, hits leg.
And that's just the quality of the player. England's 3 down in the power play for 39. Pretty tough from there.
Yes, especially after Bairstow is then bowled by Axar Patel, and then Moeen Ali decides to run when the ball's in Rishabh Pant's hands. So like in that phase, they went from none for 26 after 3 overs to 5 for 49 in 8 overs. So they lost 5 for 23 in 5 overs. Now, as I said before, as a whole, they lost 10 for 80, I suppose, 10 for a bit less than that, and 9 for 60 or something like that in 12 overs. So all these numbers sound really good, but I did feel like at the start, there's some there that are hanging in there, and then it just it fell apart quickly.
It's as big a loss as the return game in Adelaide. Truly, I know that the
68 runs,
68, but just on that deck, the margins to create that level of margin on like a low, slow scoring deck, it's a big riposte for Adelaide, and we're gonna come to it. I mean, England only makes 47 in the middle overs as opposed to India's 72, and they lose 5 wickets throughout time. And that's when you're starting to get the calamity dismissals coming into play. That's when Axar and Kuldeep are getting into their own. So Kuldeep's 3 wickets, no one's calling it a hat-trick, but Kuldeep's 3 wickets are one's a wrong un, one's from the front of the hand, one's a conventional leggy, and each of them deceive the batter. He is in a rich vein of form, Kuldeep Yadav. He'll often be swallowed in with the rest of the Indian spinners who are more considered as a whole, but I do think he deserves a little bit more attention as a player. I think he's gone up a level or two in the last 12 months.
3 for 19. And you couple that with Axar's 3 for 23, so that is 6 for 42 off 8 overs.
Yeah, unders for them, I would have thought. I mean, and that's the question for oppositions. Like, who do you take down? With Axar bowling 150k darts and Bumrah doing the same. Kuldeep Yadav is almost unpickable. That's 12 overs done. Can you knock those guys off their length? Very, very difficult. Maybe Kuldeep gives it a bit more air, but he's improved his pace through the air deluxe. You can't even get, like Ponting was talking the other day, you can't use your feet to Kuldeep Yadav. He's that quick, and he still manages to get a lot of grip off the surface. Axar, we know how he bowls. Bumrah's the best in the world, so that leaves you 8 overs to get some stuff done. Now, people do their best against Hardik, to be fair, but he's had a good tournament at the start. When Ravindra Jadeja is the guy like, do we have a look at him? Watch out for him taking a bag in the final. I mean, I know Australia tried to target him. It's like that's how good India's bowling at the moment, how well they're bowling. And then with this game in particular, which is just a carve up. This game, you started to get the chaotic runouts going as well. Jofra sending Lee and Livingston back, and I think both will get run out in that situation anyway.
Probably,
Bumrah then breaks Jofra's heel to win the game. There's a lot of moments emblematic of the difference between these two sides. In England, it's tail between the legs stuff. You can't really judge it because Australia, they still have their tail between their legs and they're just landing in Melbourne now. So,
it's a good team.
Exactly. Which he goes, brings me to want now. This is by a big basket. Buy a big basket. He goes, it's their time.
Again,
it's their time now. I have a message to the fans out there, and they'll know They'll know who I'm talking to. They know that I'm talking to them. Now, I know you're afraid. That's a rational response to history. But it's here. It's happening for you. The nerves and the fear is a necessary prelude to the ecstasy and exhilaration that awaits.
I like that.
You've waited a long time. There are some scars. There's some serious scars, and scars for good reason, because you should have done it before. Mm-hmm. But your team is ready. We're ready for you, South Africa. Now's your time. He goes...
Sometimes the best team of the tournament doesn't win the tournament, you know?
Who gets to adopt the underdogs tag in this game? Because as somebody, I think on our channel mentioned recently, it is the stoppable object against the movable force in the final.
Yeah.
Are we going to look at... Are we looking at two teams for whom the question for the nation psychologically is who is ready to win? Mm-hmm. Who is ready to say... History, I cast you aside.
Yes.
I beseech thee. It's done. I'm ready.
Who's scared the least? Who is the least afraid of failure? That's probably what it'll come down to, you know? And I think, now I'm actually disappointed with this game in the lack of closeness to it, but still got another great game. The two undefeated teams of the tournament. So someone is going to win the World Cup undefeated, which is good.
That's right. And the other team, who has been hitherto undefeated, by virtue of losing, will maintain the choker's tag, no matter how they play.
Doesn't matter how it happens, what happens. They could score 36 off the last over to get into a super over, but then lose a super over. They fucked it.
And that's because humans overlay their own narratives to make sense of basic things that are happening. You know, chemistry, Big Bang. But, you know, nothing comes from nothing. Is there a God?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why are we here?
Well, indeed.
But, you know, like we've been trying to figure out like the, that sort of arbitrary nature of T20 cricket. But we have got to a final here where the two best teams have made the final. The two undefeated teams have made it. So maybe there is some sort of consistency to the pattern.
Quality.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but it is... I can just imagine it now. There's like, there's a run chase. There's 5 overs left. There's some wickets in hand. There's some runs to be scored. And it's just the tension on both nations. I'm not even talking about the players, just like the fans watching that game from Africa to India, you know? That is going to be some of the most painful watching of all time. Now, don't have a dog in the fight here. You know, obviously good for business if South Africa wins. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go into a World Cup final where I'm actually going to enjoy the pain of the fans on both sides, because it's like, I'm having a good time over here. I don't really care who wins, you know? But if it gets close, that's going to be fucking unbearable to watch.
We've gone through the breakup already.
I'm over it.
We're on rebound.
Yeah, I'm fucking someone else now.
We're looking for someone. Anything.
Yeah. I'm on all the apps now. All of them.
Now, I want to compare this. I know this will upset people because I don't want to remember it, but like the 2023 one-day final, like World Cup final.
Oh, yeah.
Is South Africa more of an outside shot in this game than Australia was in that game? So,
no,
or India heavier favourites in the last World Cup?
My opinion, definitely.
Yeah.
My opinion. I think, I mean, the fact that there's no home team in this, sort of.
There's some home TV times.
Yeah. There are some home comforts afforded. No, I think Australia were far greater underdogs in that game.
Yeah. Okay. So India's...
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's probably right. I do think that India look unable to be impregnated as a team in this World Cup.
I think they're the best team.
I don't see their gap. Like, things have to fall over for them. It's fine to say this. They just look the goods, India, and they look ready, and they have the team is set up. There's no stitch up to that. It's backed up by their performances.
I would say this time that no one's talking about this T20 side being the greatest T20 side of all time, as the ODI side was.
Well, a lot of things were said during the World Cup.
A lot of things were said, and receipts were kept.
Yeah. But it's not the World Cup. We don't have to talk about that anymore. That's our success, but that's done now.
True.
And revenge on Australia might be exacted by defeating South Africa
I
in
see.
Barbados.
Now,
at 10 a.m.
in terms of the structure of the game, how do you want it to go down? Like, do you want India to chase or do you want South Africa to chase?
Well, just noting that, like, so Butler sent India in, right?
Yes.
So it's as it is with the One Day World Cup. I have to double check this, but
Marsh
like
did as well, I think.
India appears to have had a lot of success batting first in this World Cup. That'd be about right. There's that runs on the board, Rohit runs. Is that? I'm remembering a couple of games. Like they batted first against Pakistan, batted first against Australia, batted first in this game here. So these
batted
big
second in the USA.
USA
Against the
this
USA.
is bigger games.
Yeah.
Afghanistan, they put runs on the board and Afghanistan capitulate.
That's
Is
right.
that- Yeah,
Yep.
So India are runs on the board team,
Runs
just
on
as
the
they
board
were
team.
in the ODI World Cup. Remember before the ODI World Cup final, it was like the only way to beat India is to bat first.
Yeah, that's right.
And then India tried to double bluff Australia into
Yeah.
doing exactly that.
Right.
Australia called it black soil stuff.
Yes.
Everyone remembers the black soil moment.
Yes, yep.
And the stitch up was on.
Yeah, that's right.
So what does South Africa? Yeah. So what do I want? I'd like India to do it a different way. You know, like not to do it in the formulaic way, no double-sided coins, but it doesn't really matter. I feel like India's strengths are unable, like they just don't look like being usurped. I don't know how you take Bumrah down. I don't know how you take Kuldeep and Axar down. And then if they don't get taken down, can you over-attack against the remaining bowlers? Like maybe, but you know, the South African players they have some high quality in that side.
Yep.
You know, so
And against spin as well. Miller and Klaasen especially.
I think India's batters I can see a world where India's batters can take South Africa's bowlers down.
Yep.
You know, a bit more seam heavy. But, you know, South Africa, the thing about South Africa is like, and it is part of their history leading into this World Cup, they have managed to win games at this World Cup in ways that they haven't previously. And, you know, perhaps overlaying our own narratives to this, but there does seem to be a special quality to the group. You know, there's something special about this particular South African team.
Yes.
And that you know, intangible quality of togetherness and transcendence of their own history and the opportunity to like do the thing that no one in their nation has done before might be, you know, might have a power bigger than any X's and O's data going on. You know, it's just who from South Africa can step up. They do have the best middle order batters.
Yep.
You know, you've got Miller, Klaas. Like, I mean, it to me, that's the matchup, right? It's like what happens in the middle overs with South Africa batting and India bowling. Because with India bowling, Kuldeep, Axar, Jadeja against who you presume to be, you know, Miller, Klaasen, Markram, Stubbs.
Yep.
Now, might fast forward to this clip actually, Charlie. People have been using this, but I want to
Yeah.
give the full clip. This is a chat that we had
Yep.
with Tristan Stubbs of the Delhi Capitals about his then teammate, Kuldeep Yadav, and preparing for this World Cup, right? Now you tell me, ladies and gentlemen, is this 1-0 Kuldeep? This is the lead-in. You can use this. This is some lead-in context into this matchup that will take place on Sunday.
Stubbsy, I want to ask you about one of your teammates, Kuldeep. And like obviously the wrong one is just unbelievable. Are you picking the wrong one in the nets?
He won't bowl to me. I've tried a few times to go face him. He won't bowl.
Why?
Okay, let's talk about that. Yep, why?
It's him. So I don't know what he's. Yeah, I think he's trying to keep it a mystery. So I can't tell you. But I've tried to face him. He's not having me.
Oh, is this like is this a World Cup
thing?
situation in a South African Indian situation?
I think it's quietly not been said, but I think so. Yeah.
Interesting. I like it. I like it.
Are you asking him to like line up as well?
He wants to face me. He can face me.
Well, what I mean is, like, are you asking him to bowl at you? You know, you saying like, Kuldeep, I want to have it.
I'm trying to get in the net to face it, but
Is
yeah,
he actually smart because part of the reason you want to face him is to get ready for the World Cup?
yeah, I think so. We're both on the same page. Just it doesn't work out.
What I like about that is that he did not want to answer those questions.
But that interview was recorded at least 2 months ago.
Yep.
So these two teams have been ready for this. They've known for a long time that
Yeah.
like there's going to be a showdown. Perhaps they wouldn't have known it would be right in a final, but they knew they'd be there or thereabouts. And let's see, you know, there'll probably be a moment in the game where Stubbsy finally gets to face Kuldeep, and the question is, can he pick him?
Oh, fuck, that's going to be
You
good.
know what I'm saying?
There we go.
That'll be good.
There's a matchup.
So that is. I think the game. The game rides on lots of different things. Sure. But like that, if any team does stand a chance of making some impression on India's hitherto impregnable middle overs bowling, it's a South African team. Hey, finally assessing England. Well, I guess, I don't know, tail between leg stuff, sacked in the morning, Euros, Matt Mott. Is it, they beat the Associates and West Indies.
Yes.
It's funny, 24 hours ago, we go, well, they have actually made quite a good run through the World Cup, which is what you got to do. Then you just get busted by a great team, and okay.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, not good enough. I mean,
It's like
team.
it's like the exact opposite or the antithesis of what I was saying before about like the two best teams have made the final, so maybe that's good. But then England's tournament ends up being completely bizarre, where they've beaten no one in the West Indies. Disrespectful. That's how we play it here. And so it's kind of odd because their team's good. I think they've got a good team. Is it the West Indies that doesn't really quite work out for them in the West Indies? I'm not sure. Adil Rashid's had a good tournament. Maybe lacking runs.
But what does it mean?
Lacking
It's
runs.
like, okay, they end up the third best team in the tournament. It's all right. That's probably what it is, right?
It's not a failure of a tournament because they made the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Better than Australia, better than New Zealand, better than the West Indies.
If they played Afghanistan or South Africa, they might make the final. It's like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
They didn't. They
Yeah.
just
So what
lost.
does that mean? Does that mean, like ignominy? Like is that this team needs to be regenerated, an entire commission and inquiry into the team must happen?
What do you think about this? Like, I do think it's unders. I do think it's unders for what their team's capable of, I feel like.
But what if Butler hits 80 in the game, he just gets one away and they win? Is it unders then?
Yeah, is the team unders because one guy's come off?
It's hard to make sense of the T20 stuff.
It is hard.
But he didn't do it, but he's done it before.
Because he didn't do it because other guys got him out because they were better than him.
Yeah. Because of the pressure. Yeah. But it just means India's better than them. Like if they lose by 20 runs, it's like, okay, well, that can happen.
Yeah.
Is the nature of the loss an issue?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. They made the semis. Hashtag AskTGC. Here goes. Who have we got here? Let's get it up on screen. This is from specialist number 8. Well, there's
Perfect.
plenty of us. Do you think South Africa's 6-hour flight delay into Barbados caused by landing failure of a small chartered aircraft is the latest example of Jay Shah supremacy? So have we checked? Has that actually happened?
I don't know if that happened. I don't know if that's happened, but I like it.
I like
Yeah, well, there's been heaps of conversation around,
South African team delayed in Trinidad because of runway closure. In Barbados.
He's done it again, Jay. He's a genius. He's a genius and powerful.
Well, he actually has. Jay Shah has promised he's actually already promised the World Cup, hasn't he?
He's promised the World Cup.
I can get this. Hang on. This is a quote. This is a genuine quote.
Okay. Can I say, like,
go say talk,
like
yeah.
when there's been a lot of conversations about perceived favourabilities of the Indian team with fixtures and all that kind of stuff, and I think that's fairly obviously true. But don't think it's the reason they made the final, but it's obviously true. But like what I would say, Pezza, if I was talking, they did also have to have to have 15 players in your squad and then have to play half your games or the group games in the USA on those decks. It does actually stretch them a little. Like it was a disadvantage to play in the USA, I would say. It was a disadvantage for Pakistan. It was probably an advantage for the USA. Sort of brought teams closer together. Just my opinion. So, Kuldeep didn't play in the USA because those decks weren't conducive to him. So they had to play, who played? What's his name? Siraj played instead. So they had to stretch their squad a little bit more. Now, like, yeah, I think all things can be true. I don't think that the reason that India are the best team so far in this tournament with South Africa, or they've made the final, is because of favourable fixtures. It's definitely helped. It's definitely helped. I don't think you can really be a sane person and be like, nah, that absolutely had no element of
it's just the
benefit
extent to which
it
influences it.
So then to balance that out, just like, but they also had to play in the USA, and that's wouldn't say it's particularly easy. Anyway,
this is a quote, and this has been run elsewhere publicly. But the night before the Rajkot test between India and England, Jay Shah did say, "I want to promise you that we'll lift the trophy in Barbados in the 2024 T20 World Cup under Rohit Sharma's captaincy. We will hoist India's flag."
Oh, fuck me!
So
he's promised it.
It is written.
He's a man of his word, Jay Shah. I think. I don't know.
So I'm not saying that Jay Shah has closed the runway to Barbados.
No,
in any way.
No one's saying
right?
that. No one's saying that.
No one's saying
No
that.
one's saying that.
No one's saying that. But
But the runway
World
was
Cup-
closed.
The
And
runway was closed,
the runway
and
was
the World
closed.
Cup has been promised.
You're just, all you're doing is presenting facts. Jay Shah's promised the World Cup under
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma's captaincy.
Yeah.
A runway was closed where South Africa couldn't leave. These are just the facts. I'm not saying they're related.
Yep.
I'm not saying they're related. I'm just telling you what's
Don't mix
happened.
up correlation and causation.
Exactly.
And in fact, it might be and is neither. There's just two facts.
Yeah.
6-hour delay. You know, last time India fucked around trying to get things done,
Yeah.
it blew up in their face.
Yeah. But that's not related
But that's
to what
not,
you're
that's
talking
not
about.
related to what we're talking about. I'm saying the last time they did that with the deck.
And there was a runway closed.
Yeah.
That's all that happened.
It's a nervous time. It's a nervous time for everybody. It's a nervous time for everybody. Who just predicted? Who have you got?
India.
Look at the way you touch your face.
Oh
after
no,
that.
sorry.
You're just tired.
People might feel like I'm flat. I had food poisoning last night,
Yeah.
so I'm not. He's not a well boy. He's not a well boy.
He's not a well boy.
Which is interesting because in 1995, when the Springboks played against the All Blacks,
Yes.
in that home World Cup, there was an allegation of food poisoning in the All Blacks hotel, therefore them being sick, turning up to the World Cup final. I'm just saying, was I food poisoned
Yes.
last
Good
night
point.
ahead of a World Cup semi-final involving India and England?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time you were mixed up for a South African in Faf du Plessis.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Or the last, I should say. So, yeah, I got India as well. Thanks for asking.
Sorry. I'm saying
Sorry, he's not a well boy.
A runway was closed. That's all I'm
All right.
saying.
And the flag will be hoisted like like the American flag on the moon.
You sort of hoist a petard, don't you?
You can be hoist on your own petard.
You can be hoist on your own petard.
Which was what happened to India in the 2023
That's
World
right.
Cup
They were
final.
hoist on their own petard.
They had a petard and they were hoist on it.
Now let's move into a Black Eyed Peas song. Let's get it started.
Yes.
That's a different thing.
That's exactly
That's not
right.
the same thing.
Now, that was how the Australians battered against India in the test matches. With that song on in the...
That was Steve Smith's entrance song.
Let's get out of here before we get cancelled.
Okay, see you guys for the World Cup final in a couple of days' time. Who you got? Let us know in the comments. I think I know, but just let us know.
let us know.
See you later.